Robben Island, a name that echoes through history, carrying with it tales of isolation, resilience, and transformation. Even the name sounds lonely, like being cut off from everyone. This small island, surrounded by the cold, unforgiving waters of Table Bay, has been a silent witness to centuries of human suffering and endurance. It's a few miles from Cape Town, in the cold water of Table Bay. Despite its proximity to the bustling city, it feels worlds apart, a stark reminder of the divide between freedom and captivity. It looks peaceful, but it has a rough history, like the waves crashing on its shores. The island's serene appearance belies the turbulent events that have unfolded here, shaping the course of South African history. For a long time, Robben Island was a place where people nobody wanted were sent. It was a dumping ground for society's outcasts, a place where the unwanted were hidden away from the world. It was a place for people with leprosy, sick animals, and soldiers. The island served as a leper colony, a military base, and even a mental institution, each phase adding layers to its complex history. But during apartheid, Robben Island became really important. It transformed into a maximum security prison, housing those who dared to challenge the oppressive regime. The South African government sent people who fought against apartheid there. These were not ordinary criminals, but brave men and women who stood up for justice and equality. Robben Island showed how cruel apartheid was. The harsh conditions, the brutal treatment of prisoners, and the relentless efforts to break their spirits were a testament to the cruelty of the apartheid system. It showed how much the government wanted to stop anyone who disagreed with them. The island became a symbol of the lengths to which the government would go to silence dissent and maintain control. The island's loneliness, which made people sad at first, became a test of their strength. The isolation that was meant to break their spirits instead became a crucible that forged their resolve. Nelson Mandela and many others were prisoners there for decades. These leaders, including Nelson Mandela, spent years in confinement, enduring hardships that would have broken lesser men. They turned the prison into a place of learning and resistance, showing how strong people can be. Despite the harsh conditions, they educated themselves and each other, turning the prison into a university of resistance. Today, Robben Island stands as a powerful symbol of the triumph of the human spirit. It is a place of pilgrimage, where people from all over the world come to honor the resilience and courage of those who fought for freedom. The island's history is preserved in its buildings, its memorials, and in the stories of those who survived its harsh conditions. It serves as a reminder of the past and a beacon of hope for the future. As the sun sets over Robben Island, it casts a golden glow over a place that has seen so much darkness. It is a testament to the enduring power of hope, resilience, and the unbreakable human spirit. In 1964, the world watched Nelson Mandela and his friends go on trial. This was not just any trial. It was a pivotal moment in the history of South Africa. The Rivonia trial, named after the suburb of Johannesburg where the leaders of the African National Congress, ANC, were arrested, became a symbol of the struggle against apartheid. The trial was a dramatic and intense affair, capturing the attention of people around the globe. Mandela and his co-defendants were charged with sabotage, a crime that carried the death penalty. The stakes were incredibly high, and the outcome would shape the future of the nation. They were accused of trying to hurt the government. The prosecution argued that Mandela and his comrades had planned acts of sabotage to overthrow the apartheid regime. The evidence presented was damning, including documents and testimonies that painted a picture of a well-organized resistance movement. The defendants, however, argued that their actions were justified in the face of an oppressive and unjust system. They believed that non-violent protest had failed, and that more drastic measures were necessary to achieve equality and justice. This trial, called the Rivonia trial, was super important for South Africa. It was a turning point in the fight against apartheid, highlighting the brutal realities of the regime and the courage of those who opposed it. The trial also brought international attention to the plight of Black South Africans, garnering support from around the world. Mandela's powerful speeches during the trial, including his famous "I am prepared to die" speech, resonated deeply with people everywhere, solidifying his status as a global icon of resistance and justice. Everyone knew what would happen. The atmosphere was tense, both inside and outside the courtroom. Supporters of the defendants gathered in large numbers, hoping for a miracle but fearing the worst. The media coverage was extensive, with newspapers and radio broadcasts keeping the public informed of every development. The trial was a spectacle, a dramatic showdown between the forces of oppression and the champions of freedom. The government wanted to silence Mandela, so they made sure he would be found guilty. The judge, under immense pressure from the apartheid regime, handed down harsh sentences. Mandela and his co-defendants were sentenced to life in prison, a verdict that was met with outrage and despair by their supporters. The government's message was clear: dissent would not be tolerated, and those who dared to challenge the status quo would pay a heavy price. Mandela was sentenced to life in prison and sent to Robben Island. This remote and desolate island, located off the coast of Cape Town, became his home for the next 18 years. Robben Island was notorious for its harsh conditions and brutal treatment of prisoners. Mandela and his fellow inmates were subjected to hard labor, inadequate food, and constant surveillance. Despite these hardships, they remained steadfast in their commitment to the struggle for freedom. On a cold July day, Mandela and the others arrived. The journey to Robben Island was a somber one, filled with uncertainty and fear. As they disembarked from the boat, they were greeted by the harsh reality of their new existence. The prison guards were unrelenting, enforcing strict rules and meting out punishment for even the slightest infractions. The prisoners were stripped of their identities, reduced to mere numbers in the eyes of their captors. They weren't called by their names anymore, just numbers. This dehumanizing practice was intended to break their spirits and strip them of their dignity. But Mandela and his fellow prisoners refused to be broken. They found ways to resist, to maintain their sense of self and their hope for a better future. They formed a close-knit community, supporting each other through the darkest of times. They joined hundreds of other political prisoners. Robben Island was home to many of South Africa's most prominent anti-apartheid activists. Together, they continued to fight for their cause, even from behind bars. They educated themselves, debated political strategies, and kept the spirit of resistance alive. The bonds they formed on the island would last a lifetime, and their collective determination would eventually lead to the downfall of the apartheid regime. The message was clear: give up hope. But Mandela and his comrades refused to accept this message. They held on to their hope, their dreams of a free and equal South Africa. Their resilience and unwavering commitment to justice would inspire generations to come, proving that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure and triumph. Life on Robben Island was meant to crush you. Prisoners worked hard in a lime quarry. The white dust hurt their eyes, reminding them of how hard their lives were. They didn't get much food, mostly watery porridge and bread. Their cells were small and crowded, with no protection from the weather or the guards. Everything was controlled, meant to take away their dignity. But even then, the prisoners found ways to resist. The prisoners weren't allowed to go to school, so they made their own. They hid textbooks from the guards and taught each other in secret. They called this the Robben Island University. It showed how much they believed in education, even in prison. Mandela, even though he was treated very badly, got a law degree while he was there. He knew education wasn't just about learning facts, but about making yourself and your community stronger. It was a way to fight back, to be human even when they were treated like they weren't. Mandela is famous for being on Robben Island, but thousands of others were there too. Men like Walter Sisulu, Govan Mbeki, Ahmed Kathrada, and Jacob Zuma, all important in the fight against apartheid, were also prisoners. These men came from different places and had different jobs, like teachers, lawyers, and students. But they all believed apartheid was wrong and wanted a fair South Africa. Their stories are important too, even though Mandela's is more famous. When apartheid ended and South Africa changed, so did Robben Island. It wasn't a prison anymore, but a symbol of hope. In 1997, it became a museum. It reminds us of the past and shows how strong people can be. Today, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. People from all over the world visit to learn about its history. The island used to be a symbol of bad things, but now it's a symbol of hope. That shows how things can change and how important it is to remember history, even the bad parts. One of the best things about visiting Robben Island is that former prisoners give tours. They tell their stories and explain what it was like. They make the history real. They talk about the hard times, the friends they made, and how their beliefs kept them going. Their stories show how strong people can be and how important it is to forgive. Robben Island is important for the whole world, not just South Africa. It shows how people fought for their rights and how hope can win. It reminds us that even when things seem impossible, people can be strong and win in the end. What happened on Robben Island is still important today. It reminds us to speak up against unfairness, fight for what we believe in, and never give up hope. Robben Island isn't just about the past. It's important today too. This island, once a place of immense suffering and struggle, now stands as a beacon of hope and education. As you step onto the island, you are immediately struck by the weight of its history and the resilience of those who were imprisoned here. The journey to Robben Island is not just a physical one, but an emotional and educational voyage that leaves a lasting impact on all who visit. It's a place to remember how important freedom is and to protect everyone's rights. The stories of the prisoners, especially those like Nelson Mandela, remind us of the sacrifices made for the freedoms we often take for granted. Each plaque, each sign, and each corner of the island tells a story of courage, resilience, and the unyielding human spirit. Visitors are often moved to tears as they learn about the harsh conditions and the indomitable will of those who fought for justice. Visiting Robben Island makes you think and remember. Walking through the narrow corridors of the prison, you can almost hear the echoes of the past. The cells, preserved in their original state, offer a stark reminder of the harsh realities faced by the prisoners. Artifacts and personal belongings of the inmates provide a deeply personal connection to their stories, making the experience all the more poignant. You learn about an important time in history and see how brave people can be. The reenactments and photographs bring to life the daily struggles and small victories of the prisoners. Educational tours provide in-depth insights into the political climate of the time and the global impact of the anti-apartheid movement. It's a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up against injustice, no matter the cost. Mandela said, "No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion." His words, etched into the walls of the prison, resonate deeply with visitors. They serve as a timeless reminder of the power of love and understanding in overcoming hatred and division. Mandela's legacy is not just one of political change, but of profound human compassion and empathy. He knew people learn to hate, but they can also learn to love, because love is more natural than hate. The diverse groups of visitors to Robben Island today are a testament to this belief. People from all walks of life come together to learn, reflect, and honor the legacy of those who fought for equality. The island serves as a powerful symbol of unity and the potential for a better, more inclusive world. Robben Island teaches us to learn from the past, to see each other as human beings, and to work together for a better world. The lessons learned here are not just historical, but deeply personal and universally relevant. As the sun sets over the island, casting a golden glow over the memorials and the sea, visitors leave with a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to fostering a world where freedom and justice prevail for all.